Alright everybody, last but not least for the Marvel Legends 2012 Wave 1 is the Build-A-Figure TERRAX. He stands just about 8 inches tall, and with all of the other figures you get all these little side story type things that explain the character and other characters and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you read these, they're actually pretty good. Don't just throw those away thinking they're garbage, they're not garbage. TERRAX has an axe, although it's pretty cheap looking. There's no paint detail at all. The sculpting is okay, but it basically just looks like a big hunk of plastic. Don't care for it too much, and it's rather unimposing for what it should be. That being said, TERRAX himself is rather unimposing. He's got nice big long legs and then a really tiny upper body. His arms barely make it past his hips, which means they're too short. Hasbro, his arms are way too short. His upper body is way too small. TERRAX in general is way too small. We want Build-A-Figures that actually are worth building. This guy is just slightly larger than some of the regularly released figures. In fact, TERRAX, Thor, look at that. Build-A-Figure, not a Build-A-Figure. They're basically the exact same size. I don't like that. I want a Build-A-Figure to be at least somewhat larger. I mean, at least make them blob size, but this is just way little. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the figure as it is, because what else are we going to do? Head sculpt is pretty good. Really no complaints about the head sculpt. Articulation up and down, side to side. The chest thing is not actually connected to him, so it's free floating, doesn't impede any articulation. He's got standard ball joint shoulders, bicep swivel, single jointed elbow, wrist rotation, and wrist pivot. If you look, the bicep's really short. I think that's where they lost a lot of the size in the arm. The bicep area is really small. Fist hand, open hand for the axe, but it's not really the right shape, so he doesn't hold it all that well. And his one finger is really long, and his fingers in general are just kind of weirdly shaped. So, and he's got gloves on, and you can still see his fingernails. So that's another thing I don't care for. He does have an ab crunch. This little piece here snaps into the belt, and it bends with the ab crunch. So that's okay, I guess. The sculpting isn't bad on his torso. If you take all the armor and everything off, it's actually a decent base body, but again, the arms are just way too small. This part's loose again too, it's not connected anywhere. So we can show you the hip articulation, if it wasn't so tight. It's a T-joint hip, ball joint, so that's good. Thigh swivel's built in, double jointed knees, shin swivel. This is glued on, by the way, so it does come off if you really wanted to. There are some pegs you'd have to fill in, but it is not part of the sculpt. He has an ankle pivot, no toe joint, but he has the new ankle rocker, which is kind of like the Play Arts figures, kind of like some of the Soda Street Fighter figures. It gives him a really nice range of motion. How that works is, as the disc in the ankle for this here, we'll do this one. The disc that allows this articulation to work, instead of going straight down, it connects forward, and it allows the foot to rotate that way. So it's actually, that's like a really good thing about this figure. The legs and feet actually turned out really well. It's just the upper body from here to here, just way too small and unimpressive, as is the axe. So it's a good character for sure. I mean, we wanted to get a TERRAX figure. I don't have any complaints about that. It's just the way they executed him, not as in killing him. As the way they made the figure is just not good in my opinion. Just like the Steve Rogers figure, they're really letting us down, I think. And just because we want Marvel Legends to come back doesn't mean we should be happy with anything they give us. I think we should let them know that having a TERRAX figure with a tiny upper body and tiny little arms, who doesn't stand any taller than Thor, is not acceptable. Please give us something we actually want to have, not just something we got as a bonus with the figures. It's almost, I take it as almost an insult to give us a Build-A-Figure that's so tiny and so unimpressive, especially when it's a character like TERRAX. He should be a really imposing looking figure, and he's not. So Maybe I'm just cynical and jaded, but I'm not impressed overall by the Legends so far. We have a couple good looking figures, but nothing that's really impressed me. So hopefully, as they said they're going to do the wave 2 and then wave 3, we're going to start seeing some improvements. But like I said, so far I'm not seeing much that I'm too happy with. So let me know what you guys think about the Legends overall, and thanks for watching all the reviews, guys. I'll have more stuff up soon, so keep an eye out for that, and in the meantime, keep collecting.